Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, the Persistent Mitchell, coming to you today on Sunday. I don't know what day it is. I think the 13th. Yeah, so right after 9/11. I want to give a shout out to all the people that passed on 9/11. Um, I told people I did a little message asking, do you remember where you were when you found out the news that had happened? Like I said, I remember where I was. I was in Salt Lake City. And I was just I was renting a room from a friend. And when I came there after whatever day it was, and she said, hey, have you heard what happened? And I'm like, no, what happened? This is pre smartphones, so I didn't have access to that. So when she told me about it, we watched the second plane crash into the building. And I'll never forget how I felt. And then what's the crazy thing is my next flash is I remember seeing Jamie Foxx, and he said how white people and black people had galvanized together and how it was just a big thing for people that everybody had came together and it was like a beautiful thing. And I thought about that because we at a point now where it's not like that. Like we don't come together for anything. It's so divided and so separated. We got the red side, we got the blue side, and it's miserable. But I got to thinking, I said this video, more things are caught than taught. So we can teach our kids so many things. And my last live video, I hadn't did a live video since. I had ankle surgery, so you don't know if you can see the boot, but I got a boot on, and I'm finally able to sit up normal. So I wanted to jump on here, kind of give some of my heart, I guess. But I was thinking about this, that you have sports. So here's for instance. You have sports. So you got these teams and you got referees, right? So what actually is a referee? A referee could be, he's like the police of the league, right? So when you do something out of pocket, they penalize you for it. So, hey, if you're playing basketball, if you travel, hey, you got to give the other team the ball because now, yeah, there you go. Yes, that's how it exactly is. So you get penalized for that. So in football, you hold somebody or you stop the guy from catching the ball, they throw a flag. And that's the consequence of you breaking the rule. So I think about that. It's the same concept in the world today. And I went back to thinking about my nephew. And mind you, that last video it got all kind of flack. And people didn't even know that I wasn't even talking about them. So the people who got offended, I wasn't talking about you. You just was part of my story to tell a bigger story. Because it was like if I didn't reference my past, you wouldn't know where I was going and where I came from. So I was explaining to you the journey. And that was the magic. It wasn't about the story. I had to say my beginning so you can know my middle and you can see the future. So just want to put that out there that anybody that took that story wrong, I went back and looked at it like 2 or 3 times and I was like, well, what was so offensive? The people that knew they was in the story got offended when I wasn't even talking about you. I wasn't even trying to get you even on the live video at all. But I was thinking about my nephew. My nephew came to live with me. And like how I referenced about sports and how the referees could be called cops. Right? They could be called cops. So when my nephew came to live with us, he had never had a man around him to be authoritative with him. So there was rules. And I was sitting here talking to my friends from church, so they talked about in church today how the parents, they have their roles. So the mothers, they start that bond right when they hear a heartbeat. And they say, there's a child that's growing inside my belly. I'm going to cherish him. I'm going to do all these things for him. But the man is not the same for the man. He doesn't have that same connection. He starts his connection when he holds the baby, when he feels the baby kick, when he holds the baby. And what it does, you have 2 different roles. So the woman, they say, love him like a mother, protect him like a father. So the father, he's more disconnected from the child. So he can give more discipline in the way it is as opposed to feelings. Now, I think about that a lot. So I'm saying that to say this. So my nephew came and lived with me. And like I said, there's only women in my family. There was no men around. My nephew came to live with me. And that's another story. But he came to live with me. And when I had to put my foot down on things he wasn't going to do, he had never had a man talk to him that way. Hey, if he did, it was like knuckle up. You know, hey, you disrespecting me, let's fight. But I was an authoritative figure. He ate because of me. He had shelter because of me. So it was my rules. And as a man, he had to pay attention. He had to take my authoritative way and soak it in and say, you know what, I just got to take this. I don't have a choice. I just got to take this. This man is feeding me. This man is clothing me. This man is doing all these things for me. He's going to make sure that I graduate. I got to take this. So I was his first authoritative figure. I was the cop. I was the referee. So I'm saying this because when I look out in the world, you know, and I was going to name this video, Sit Your Ass Down, you know, because it just doesn't make sense to me. I see all these things going on, and I think, and I could be wrong. Hey, you can challenge me in the comments. I could be wrong, but I think that men haven't been talked to. These guys out here being a certain way with the cops, you got to respect the title. My pastor, I got to respect his title. I come to him and I say something that, hey, I think is right. He tells me it's wrong. I got to respect the title. Like, you got to respect the title no matter what. And I think that these men that haven't grown up or haven't had any authoritative figure in front of them except somebody say, let's knuckle up or let's fight or whatever. Why is that connecting? It changes things. Like, my nephew, I'm pretty sure, look at my phone getting all crazy. My nephew, I'm pretty sure that he had a chance, by me being authoritative with him, I was the first man, and that wasn't a cop, that told him what to do, and he had no choice but to do it. When I look back at it now, I'm thinking I may have saved his life. Because now he understands respect the title, no matter what. Hey, cop comes to me, hey, I learned from coaches and I learned from mentors to say, hey, here's what you don't do. So I just respect the title. Hey, did you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, I do. I was speeding. Yes, you were. And I apologize, dude. Hey, you know, I'm in a slow car. It's fast. I got an expedition. I'm used to pressing the gas pedal hard. It just goes a little bit faster. So you know what? Hey, you go ahead and go. And that's happened numerous times. Like, I wasn't like, hey, why are you stopping me? Why are you flying off the handle? Because I've had that authoritative figure already. So I offer that authoritative figure to my nephew. Like, I think that a lot of these men out here, hey, you got to comply. And it's tough. It's tough when it's the first one. If that's your first man talking to you in an authoritative way, what are you going to do? You're going to fly off the handle. Hey, you know, you slighting me. Hey, you disrespecting me. Hey, my nephew, he might have thought I was disrespecting him. But guess what? He knew it was in love. He knew that what I was saying wasn't about today. I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I said, more is caught than taught. So I was being that way with him. I remember a time he had his hair was all nappy, and I said, no, you gonna fix this. We taking you to go get a haircut. He said, no, I'm not getting a haircut. You getting a haircut. I remember he left out the door and didn't come back for a couple of days. But guess what? When he came back, he got a haircut. He understood what I was saying. He was out there in the world and felt it. Said, damn, I'm hungry. You know, it's hot. I'm not sleeping in my bed. I can't go to the fridge and get what I want. It ain't no food in the cupboard. I got to ask these people, whoever house he was at, he had to ask. When he came back, it was my rules of the highway, period. Now, my wife, she was more soft with him. I remember my mom saying, hey, you can't do that boy that way. You got to give him some money. You got to say, no, I'm providing food I'm providing food in his mouth, and I'm providing a roof over his head, and I'm giving him some direction. If he wants money to spend, he can go get a job because he's capable. I'm not going to give it to him and miss the most important lesson, because the lesson is not the money. The lesson is him going and saying, hey, well, I got to fend for myself in this. And actually, I feel good about it, because it's one of two things. I could have gave him the money and he could have earned the money. The end outcome could have been the same, that he had the money. But the journey of the money was the process was the value. The money itself had zero value. Me handing the money gave him nothing. Me saying, hey, you go out and earn it, and you get a paycheck, and it feels good, and it's yours, and nobody can tell you anything. If you have any responsibility, at that time he didn't have any responsibility, it was just pretty much pocket cash. He had to do it. I remember he got a job at Native New Yorker bussing tables. You don't think that had a lot of value to him? You don't think that was important to him? That I was an authoritative figure to him right out the gate? Like I said, more is caught than taught. I didn't know necessarily what I was doing, but I knew, hey, this is what we're going to do to be successful, because I had experienced some things, and I never thought about someone lending me a hand or any of that. I just wanted to get out and do it. Like when I went to college, it wasn't because somebody said, hey, you're pushing me to go. I decided I would go. I had a few people around me that said, hey, I think it would be important for you. And when I had my job that I had worked at Builders Emporium for 4 years, so from 17 to 21, and I remember the raises they gave me, it was like a quarter, 10 cents, 15 cents. And I never saw my check change. And I said, well, how are these people here dealing with this? How are they able to take care of their stuff? Because I can't even pay my bills. I can't even pay my bills. This doesn't work. I need to go back to school. I went back to school thinking that, hey, this was gonna be the way to do it. I did get my associate's degree. Not saying I ever put it on an application ever, but I did get it because I thought that's what you did. You know, and I did get to experience some other people. So I would say the value wasn't necessarily what I learned in school. The value was me being around people who was trying to advance themselves, you know? And I got to give that to my nephew. So when I got to a certain point, I started knowing some of the consequences to my actions. And when I learned the consequences to my actions, I just didn't do those things anymore when they hurt bad enough. A lot of times, like I said, the mother, she operates in feelings. Hey, no, you can't be that way. You can't do that. But the father, he has a certain disconnect that allows him to be an authoritative figure to his son, to help his son be the best that he can be. They talk about, hey, where I come from, there was very few men. Hey, I can't tell you how many men I saw in the hood. It wasn't a lot. My brother was there, here and there. I think about the apartment building. I think it was 1 or 2 couples that the husband and wife was in the family. And the rest was either single mothers or single fathers. And that's just what it was. It wasn't anything that I saw, and I never knew. You know, I made a lot of my mistakes off just watching people. I said, well, hey, if they doing it, it's not having any consequence to them. I didn't know the interior part. I didn't know the real consequence to what it was until I really felt it. Like I said, I had 2 daughters at age 19. They took all my money. That's what forced me back to college. And I think that was God's way of working in me. Forced me back to college. I never played football. Decided to play football. Get a scholarship offer. I don't know why. I think that was God's work. Decide I'm not taking a scholarship offer. Somebody shoots at me one weekend. I decide I'm taking a scholarship offer. I go to Utah State. I fail at Utah State. I did learn some stuff. It taught me tolerance. I got to be around people of different races and realize they weren't the devil and they weren't out to get me. So it taught me how to be around people and not start looking for people that look like me, but people that were like me. There's a very big difference in that. There's a distinguished difference. You can say, hey, well, I'm only going to operate with the people that look like me. You hurt yourself. You got to operate with people who are like you, not people that look like you. There's a difference. I don't give a crap what color you are. If you like me, then we can communicate and not harm one another. I always think about this. The best time to criticize another man or another person is on the golf course. You know why? They can't block your shot. They can't do any of that because they're not playing you against them. We're all playing against the course. So if I criticize something you do, corrective criticism. Hey, dude, I see you slicing and you coming across the ball wrong. You need to do this or you need to set back in your stance. He takes it only as corrective criticism. He doesn't take it as being slighted or anything. Like, you think about the level of communication. If we had that communication on a golf course that we have in the world, think how much better it would be. People wouldn't feel so slighted. They would say, hey, thank you. You know, you taught me something and it made a difference in my life. Like I said, more is caught than taught. Like my nephew, I'm pretty sure he's been pulled over by the cops. And guess what? He's already had an authoritative figure tell him what he was not going to do, period. That's what it is. The same thing with a referee in a basketball game. The same thing with a referee in a football game. The same thing with an umpire in the baseball game. There's certain things, there's rules to this. And people don't look at it that way. It's sad. Like in our world, look at how it is. And you got these black folks getting killed by the cops. Hey, the cops are guilty too in some instances. But if you never had an authoritative figure talk to you and say what you're not going to do and it's not going, period, and that's the first person that you experience that talks to you in an authoritative way, you're going to feel slighted. You're not going to know how to take it. You ain't got no experience in it. Like, I hope I'm speaking some truth. Like I said, if I'm wrong, challenge me in the comments. Oh, like I've had to blow some people off my Facebook because, hey, here's the thing. You can come. Anybody can come in. But your conduct is going to dictate if you stay. So if you come at me foul or you disrespectful to my wife in any way, hey, you'll never see me again. Not far as this. Because I feel like, hey, now I get to the position where, hey, I wanted to make the money and all that stuff. And I thought that was what the value was. But the value's not that. The value's not that. You want it to be that, but the value's not that. It's not the money that is the most valuable. The money sets the goal. The goal drags you through all the minutia to get to the goal. But that's where all the value is. The value is in the journey, not the end goal. Like I say, I'm a hunter-gatherer. I love hunting. I love taking care of my family. I love being a sole provider for my wife. I love my wife being a stay-at-home mom, taking care of me and the kids, and taking care of managing our home. It's a beautiful thing. And you look at the Bible says when a man takes on a wife, the wife becomes his family. And it goes for her too. In-laws, everybody becomes extended family. But that doesn't work because it's not people not in the Bible. The Bible does not say that, hey, you got a wife or you got a husband and they keep on being in your family business. Because your family business is the unit that you create. Hey, the kids see the first unit is marriage. At least they should. They see marriage, like I say, love them like a mother, protect them like a father. Hey, my wife has a different perspective with my kids than I do. Hey, I'm protecting them from being crazy out in the world. But she's like, I love them, cuddle them, do all these things. Well, I'm like, no, this is what you're going to do. Oh, mommy told me such. No, daddy said this is how it goes. Get in there and do it now. So what am I setting them up for? Hey, when that cop comes and says, here's what you're going to do, it's not their first experience. It's not the first thing. And they say they fly off the handle and say, hey, why are you talking to me that way? Who do you think you are? No, it's not that. Like I said, more is caught than taught. It's not that. It's you explaining these lessons, and maybe you don't explain them always, but you know that they're going to be beneficial down the road for your kids and for anybody that experiences it. Hey, I don't candy coat when my kids have their friends around. Hey, I'm not waiting until later to tell you what you did wrong. I'm in-game training. My daughter got in the car. We picked her up from a sleepover. She didn't say hi, and her friend didn't say hi. Guess what? I checked them both. See how long? I don't want to be on here too long. I checked them both. Hey, this can't be. You get in my car, you're going to say, hello, Mr. Mitchell. Hey, Daddy. That's how it's going to go, period. If you don't like it, don't come back to my house. And I'm fine with that. So I just wanted to say that. Like I said, more is caught than taught. Thank you guys for staying on this video as long as you did. I tried to go only 15 minutes. But I had to share that because I've been hurt. Like that last video, I listened to it 2 or 3 times and I was wondering who I offended. And I wasn't even talking to them. Hey, when you part of my story, I have to share when I'm general. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking of you to set a point because I got to give you the backstory to catch the story now and see the future. Like I said, goals, the goal is the money, but the money is not the goal. The money is like the magnet that drags you through all the minutia to get to the goal. But the true value is the process and the journey. So with that being said, I like to end them off with a prayer. Our Father in heaven, we come to you today and say thank you for blessing us with another day. We know it's your will that allows us to wake up and allows us to continue to move forward. We ask you to continue to bless everybody on this live video and everybody in the world, and hope we can come together. I ask that you say a special prayer for my mom. Times have been tough. And say a special prayer for my family, that we can come together in some form to be right. And this we pray, amen. So thank you guys. It's your boy, the Persistent Mitchell. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.